5 o'clock. Good evening. Here is the world news at 5. First, the top stories. Ogun State emerges as Nigeria's largest producer of mineral resources. France asks agitators of Biafra Republic to work for a united Nigeria. Nigeria's prison inmates population hits 68,000 last March 6. Set for crude oil intensified in Bauchi, Gombe, and Borno states. On the foreign scene, US warns that Islamic State fighters trapped in Mosul will die in the city. EU leaders read riot act to Turkey over planned election rallies. I am Femi Osinuga, bringing you the news in detail shortly. Ogun State has been named as Nigeria's largest producer of solid minerals. National Bureau of Statistics, in its report on mining and quarrying data for the year 2016, listed the leading type of solid mineral being produced in Nigeria as limestone and granite. The Bureau in its data says that Ogun State leads other states and the Federal Capital Territory in solid mineral production last year by producing 16,376,547 and 50 metric tons. This, according to the data, represents 37.6% of the total tons of solid mineral produced in Nigeria last year. Ogun State is trailed by Kogi State with 12,739,318 and 65 metric tons, representing 29% of the total tons of solid mineral produced nationwide. The third largest solid mineral producing state is Cross River with 2,997,678 and 73 metric tons, or 6.89% of the total tons of produced solid mineral. The consumption of cannabis, known as Indian hemp, is on the rise in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, following the influx of more people into the metropolis. Disturbed by the development, police says they have been conducting raids on several hemp smoking joints in the city as part of moves to rid the state of criminal elements. Investigation by Rock City FM reveals the hemp smoking joints in areas such as Lafenwa, Ijeuntutu, Itamori, Igbore, Itoko, and Agoko. Spokesman of the State Police Command, Abimbola Oyeyemi, told Rock City FM that the police have been conducting raids on joints and areas where Indian hemp is being smoked in Abeokuta and other parts of the state. Oyeyemi explains that 75% of criminal cases handled by the police reveal that criminals are always under the influence of hard drugs such as Indian hemp when committing crimes. He urged members of the public to always alert police whenever they notice hemp joints and smokers, as this, according to him, will reduce crime rates. Oyeyemi says places such as Indian hemp joints is where criminals usually gather, plan, and decide on where they will attack. France has asked Nigerians who are promoting the revival of the defunct Biafra Republic to drop their agitation. The proposed Biafra, according to France, is not viable and has no future. French ambassador to Nigeria, Denis Goa, addressing newsmen in Abuja, vows that his country will not work with any group, including pro-Biafra groups, agitating for the breakup of Nigeria. The envoy, when reminded that France backed Biafra during the Nigerian Civil War, says Nigeria has evolved since the war. He advises the proponents of Biafra to continue to strive to be part of Nigeria. McAfee PDP faction has accused Governor Sierrake Dixon of nursing an evil agenda against the ongoing moves to reposition the party. The faction chairman, Senator Ahmed McAfee, addressing newsmen in Kaduna, says the Bayelsa State governor pulled out of the unanimous proposal of the other 10 PDP governors at a meeting with former President Goodluck Jonathan in Abuja. According to him, Dixon, instead of submitting the proposal of his committee to the major stakeholders, including McAfee faction and all organs of PDP, gave it to Ali Modu Sheriff to organize a national convention. McAfee, however, says the way out of the protracted PDP leadership crisis is that all the party's national officers should resign their positions and sign an undertaking not to contest their resignation in court. After this, McAfee explains that a committee made up of members of all the PDP factions will be constituted to organize a transparent national convention. The prisons authorities put the total number of inmates in prison formations nationwide at 68,000 as at last March 6. Of the number, 46,351, representing 68%, are awaiting trial, while the remaining 21,903 are convicts. Prisons Controller General Jafaru Ahmed, who made this known to Economic Confidential, says efforts are being made to revive the farm centers in prison formations to make the agency self-sufficient in food and sell the surplus to members of the public. Preparatory to this, the Prisons Controller General explains that 22 tractors had been acquired and boreholes sunk. Former Group Managing Director of Nigeria National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC), Andrew Yakubu, has accused the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) of detaining him without any formal charge. Andrew was detained by EFCC last month after $9.7 million and £74,000 in cash were recovered from a house linked to him in Kaduna Metropolis. Yakubu's lawyer, Ahmed Raji, in a statement on Sunday says his client needs urgent medical attention and that no charge had been filed by EFCC against him. The lawyer explains that the former NNPC boss had been in EFCC's detention for more than a month after honoring the invitation of the anti-graft agency over the discovery of the cash. Two suspected female bombers, one of them pregnant, have been shot dead by security forces near Maiduguri, the Borno State capital. Spokesman of the State Police Command, Victor Osuku, in a statement says the suspected bombers were intercepted while attempting to enter the city on Saturday. The suspected bombers, according to him, were sighted at Umamari in Molai, about 9 kilometers to Maiduguri. In the past week, scores of suicide bombers have been killed by security forces while attempting to enter the city. You are still listening to the World News at 5 on Rock City 101.9 FM. Up next, we bring you foreign, business and sport news. Do stay with us. On the foreign scene, any so-called Islamic State fighters left in Mosul have been warned they will die in the Iraqi city. A U.S. envoy coordinating the offensive, Brett McGurk, issued the warning after Iraqi forces cut off the last road out of the city, trapping IS fighters inside. The jihadists had held Mosul, Iraq's second city, since 2014, but Iraqi forces have managed to retake the large areas in a month-long offensive. They now control all of Mosul's eastern side, and the latest US-backed push against IS, which began on March 5, has forced the extremists from key locations in the west, including the main local government headquarters and the famed Mosul Museum. Meanwhile, Joint Operations Command spokesman Brigadier General Yahya Rasool said he believed IS is weakening. Unvaccinated children will be banned from childcare centers and preschools under an Australian government plan. Some Australian states already have no jab, no play laws, but Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull is calling for nationwide legislation. Health groups have supported the push, arguing parents and the community have an obligation to protect children. An Australian child health poll survey of nearly 2,000 parents showed 5% of children were not fully vaccinated. Mr. Turnbull said more needed to be done, citing the case of a baby who died from whooping cough. Vaccinating children is not a legal requirement in Australia, but failing to do so makes parents ineligible for childcare rebates. Several EU leaders have criticized Turkey amid a growing row over the Turkish government's attempt to hold rallies in European countries. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan accused Germany and the Netherlands of Nazism after officials blocked rallies there. Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte called his comment unacceptable, while German's foreign minister said he hoped Turkey will return to its senses. Denmark's leader has also postponed a planned meeting with Mr. Erdogan. Meanwhile, German minister also appeared to harden their rhetoric against Turkey. Germany Interior Minister said he was opposed to Turkish political gatherings in Germany, while Finance Minister Wolfgang Schäuble said Turkey had destroyed the basis for further progress in cooperation. In business, Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) has intensified search for major crude oil deposits in the Benue Trough in Bauchi, Borno, and Gombe states in the northeast region. Governor Muhammad Abubakar of Bauchi State and his economic team over the weekend visited the site of the ongoing oil exploration at Barambo village in the Al-Kalari local government area of the state. The oil prospect, covering about 435 square kilometers in Benue Toro, in Borno, Bauchi, and Gombe State, is a joint venture between a subsidiary of NNPC, IDSL, and other investors. NNPC Group Managing Director Dr. Maikanti Baru explains that the renewed exploration for crude oil in the axis is aimed at actualizing the discovery of hydrocarbon deposits in the Gongola Basin 20 years ago. NNPC is also searching for crude oil in the Lake Chad Basin, also in the northeast region, as part of moves to increase the proven reserves of Nigeria's crude oil. Finally, sport news. Nigeria's Stanley Ohawuchi was in his imperial best, leading his Egyptian club Zamalek to a 4-1 rout of Enugu Rangers at the El Salam Stadium, Cairo. It was the first leg of their last qualifying round for the CAF Champions League, and Rangers, who narrowly qualified for this round, were overrun by Ohawuchi, Osam, Salam, Ayam Afeni, and Mustafa Fatih in Zamalek's attack. The game was barely 8 minutes old when Ohawuchi opened the floodgates of goals for the Egyptians. Osam Salama made it 2 in the 29th minute, while Ayam Afni increased the tally to 3-0 in the 34th minute. The home team increased the tally to 4-0 in the 54th minute through Mustafa Fatih. Rangers, however, got their consolatory goal in the 84th minute through Charles Negedu. With this result, Rangers must beat Zamalek 3-0 without conceding any goal next week to qualify for the group stage of the competition. Meanwhile, Nigeria's second entrant into the competition, Rivers United, had a fairly easy ride in Port Harcourt, where they hammered Sudanese side El Merreikh 3-0. Rivers United went into the break with a 2-0 lead following 2 goals by Guy Kilman, while Esosa Igbinosa made the scores more comfortable in the 85th minute. The second leg will be played at the El Merreikh Stadium, Ottoman, next week. That was the world news at 5, and just before we go, the major stories once again. Ogun State emerges as Nigeria's largest producer of natural mineral resources. France asks agitators of Biafra Republic to work for a united Nigeria. Nigeria's prison inmates population hits 68,000 last March 6. Search for crude oil intensified in Bauchi, Gombe, and Borno states. On the foreign scene, we told you that US warns that Islamic State fighters trapped in Mosul would die in the city, and EU leaders read riot act to Turkey over planned election rallies. For more stories and to listen to us live, please log on to our website www.rockcityfmradio.com/live. Thank you for listening. I am Femi Osinuga. Good evening.